Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruhu wa nu'minu bihi wa natawakkalu alayhi. Wa na'udhu billahi min shururi anfusina wa min sayyiati a'malina. Man yahdihillahu fala mudilla lahu wa man yudlilhu fala hadiya lahu. ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن سيدنا وسندنا وشفيعنا محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون أياما معدودات صدق الله العظيم. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك وارحم على عبدك ورسولك سيدنا محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آله وسلم تسليما. Alhamdulillah, we have now begun the last 10 nights of the month of Ramadan, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala lets us begin those last 10 nights with an odd night, the night of the 21st of Ramadan, which means it's a possibility that this night could be Laylatul Qadr. This is many of the wisdoms of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in designing our deen. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us one whole month, the month of Ramadan. And then within that month, Allah ta'ala gave us a whole 10 days, the last 10 days. And then when those last 10 days, Allah ta'ala gave us one night, Laylatul Qadr. So those people who are students, they can understand that those who aren't procrastinators and do their work in advance, they take advantage of the whole term. So there are, mashallah, people like that they take advantage of the entire month of Ramadan. And then there are some people who, aren't that well prepared, but they maybe take advantage of the end of the term. And so those are the people who will make the most of the last 10 nights of Ramadan. And then there are some people who, Allahu Akbar, they can only manage to study one night. The last night before the exam, they pull an all-nighter. And so they're one-nighters. And just like that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put one night like that in this month of Ramadan. Laylatul Qadr khayrum min alfi shahr. The night of power. Allahul Qadir has mentioned that there is a night of power, Laylatul Qadr, that is better in every single sense than 1,000 months. That is better than over 80 years. So it's a chance, a possibility, our hope, our dream, inshallah, and it has to be our effort that we find Laylatul Qadr on this night. And even just to be alive in a state of iman, in a state of fasting, in a state of remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that is first and foremost a great blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Great, incredible fadl and karam of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even just if we spent a moment, now just think like this. Before we even move to any ibadah or any acts of worship, look, some people, maybe they accept Islam later in life. They only have 30 years in which they're a Muslim. Or maybe there's somebody who was born into Islam, but they only really practice Islam for 10 or 15 years. But now look, if a person in Laylatul Qadr spends the entire night just in a state of iman, just with a qalb, a spiritual heart that is iman in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, has a desire to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, has a desire to attain Jannah, then that one night of iman is khayrum min alfi shahr, is better than 1,000 months, better than 80 years of iman. And if a person can, it means a whole lifetime basically, right? 80 odd years is the large life expectancy of an adult human being. So imagine then if so many years of Ramadan, they get so many Laylatul Qadr, it's like they spent many, many lifetimes on iman. And then if they have yaqeen, and then they make dhikr of Allah Ta'ala, and they make dua to Allah Ta'ala, and they make ibadah on that night, and they recite Quran on that night, and they give sadaqah on that night, and they seek Allah Ta'ala's forgiveness on that night, and they make tawbah on that night. Allahu Akbar Kabira. Okay, let's take our ordinary state of iman. let's say even just on that night, beyond their ordinary state of iman, they have something what is called ruju ilallah, inabat ilallah, an inclination towards Allah Ta'ala, a turning towards Allah Ta'ala, a heightened state of awareness and love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, a greater yaqeen in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that was built up after fasting for 20 days and experiencing the reality of fasting, the effect it has in our heart, experiencing qurb with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, getting a level of yaqeen in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then they spend one night like that. So the entire month of Ramadan is to be valued. Every moment of Ramadan is to be valued. But especially the odd nights of the last 10 nights are to be especially valued. Especially valued. Now if you remember, when we talked in the very beginning of Ramadan about the virtues and blessings of Ramadan, we mentioned that even 1 hour of the first hour of Ramadan had so much barakah in it that we prayed Alhamdulillah Salatul Taraweeh even without having fasted, even without having 1 day of fasting. Allah Ta'ala put so much power in Ramadan that Allah Ta'ala enabled us to stand in 1 to 1.5 hours of extra worship. Then remember that all of the wahi, all of the kitab, all of the scriptural revelations of Allah Ta'ala were revealed in this month, sent down in this month of Ramadan, whether it was the Zabur, or whether it was the Torah, or whether it was the Injil, or whether it was the Quran al-Kareem. Then this month had all the rahmah of Allah Ta'ala, the maghfirah of Allah Ta'ala. Think of any and all the features you have heard from the hadith about shaitan being chained, Jannat being open, Jahannam being closed, reward for fard multiplied, nafil equaling fard, all of that, it's all power. And it's all coming to a climax in these last 10 days, a crescendo in these last 10 days, and it comes to the ultimate climax on the night of power. All of these barakat, all of these anwarat, all of these blessings, all of this grace from Allah Ta'ala, all of this power is all coming now. Allahu Akbar Kabira. And me and you, alhamdulillah, we're alive at this moment. We're aware at this moment. We're in a state of iman at this moment. We're in a state of talab. If we're together on this night trying to remember this reality, it means we're in a state of talab. We're seeking Allah Ta'ala. We want this power. We need this power. We are in desperate need of this power. We are not from those people who their entire year is like Ramadan, or their entire Ramadan is like the last 10 nights, or every night of Ramadan is like Laylatul Qadr. We are those people who are desperately in need of this boost. We are in desperately need this extra mercy, blessing, forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now another major thing which unfortunately is not happening for most of us, myself also, we're unable to sit in, for the men sunnah itikaf in the masjid. But this also is a major aspect in the history, starting with the seerah of Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam, that when the 21st night of Ramadan, when the last 10 nights started, then Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and many of the Sahaba Kiram radiallahu ta'ala anhum would sit in the masjid. So okay, even if me and you weren't able to do that, but let's try to understand. Let's try to understand the heart and the ruh of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. His level of talab was so much that outwardly, apparently, although obviously in the masjid with Sahaba, he would still be doing dawah and still be talking to deen, but the need to connect to Allah Ta'ala became so intense, so overwhelming, so strong, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guided him to leave all activities and sit in the masjid and just do so much ibadah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that amount of ibadah should just take place in the masjid all the time. This is that Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to always pray tahajjud salah in the hujra of al-Mu'mineen, Sayyidah Aisha, or wherever he was at night. But now Sayyidina Rasulullah, Allah Ta'ala is bringing him into the masjid, wants him to spend all of those 10 days and nights in the masjid. Allahu Akbar Kabira. This is a very, now, even if we're not, me and you, we're not, obviously I'm not, most of you aren't, I'm assuming, are not in itikaf, but it's still that time. This is the time of itikaf. These are the days of itikaf. These are the days of the sunnah itikaf. These are the days of the seerah in which Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to spend in itikaf. And me and you are alive in these days and nights. Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah, Subhanallah wa bihamdi, Subhanallah al-Azim. So if we're unable to do Sunnah Itikaf this year, but the broader lesson is still there, that Ittibai Sunnah means what? That we want to model and pattern our life after his life. Especially we want to model and pattern our deen after the way he taught and practiced deen. And especially we want to model and pattern our relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala based on how Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam had his relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that means in these last 10 days and nights, even if we not be sunnah itikaf, in fact this year mashallah probably there may be more women in the world sitting in itikaf than the men, but we should increase our ibadah. We should get in the feeling of itikaf. We should try to disconnect ourselves to the maximum extent possible from all things other than reflection upon Allah Ta'ala, remembrance of Allah Ta'ala, worship of Allah Ta'ala, making dua to Allah Ta'ala, sending salawat on Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And sometimes I also think, I guess I'm reflecting a lot because this year we're not sitting in itikaf or not sitting in a masjid, but Sahaba Kiram, just imagine for them also, right? The level of expectation, the build-up that must have taken place. And they used to love to be with Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but they never had the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to themselves for 240 hours straight, right? Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam would always go back to the hujra, go back to the family, as is right. But now imagine the Sahaba, I just think about the anticipation that now Nabi Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is going to do itikaf. We're also, and those who are fortunate from the Sahaba who would join him, will be sitting with him for 10 days and 10 nights. So another aspect is, although no doubt Ramadan is the month of reading and reciting and reflecting and pondering Quran, but it's not only that, Ramadan is also about the entire deen, and one very important aspect of deen is the sunnah, the hadith of beloved Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So I think in honor of the 10-day sunnah itikaf, right, the 10-day sunnah of itikaf, we should all try to learn a few more ahadith. We should try to put ourselves, so to speak, in the sohbah of the talimat, in the company, and the shade of the guidance of the teachings and sayings of Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in this month. So in the last 10 days, try to read some hadith, whether the Arba'in of Imam al-Nawawi or parts of the Riyadh al-Salihin, or you can find many ulama, shuyukh who've given lectures on these two works, other books as well. But try, to spend a little bit of time connecting to the hadith of beloved Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And understand when we begin these last 10 days and nights, before we think of any plan or any action, just remember, وَمَا تَوْفِيقِ إِلَّا بِاللَّهِ, that there is no might and power except for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, no ability for us to do anything, no ability for us to do any ibadah except that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala graced it upon us. And that's something that we realize after having spent 20 days. This, if you look back, these 20 fasts that we fasted, that was only the karam and fazl of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Any taraweeh, any recitation of Quran, any ibadah, any sadaqah, anything that we did. And so now after 20 days, we should have yaqeen that if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends His mercy on me, if Allah ta'ala accepts me for a life of obedience, if Allah ta'ala accepts me for a life of worship, look, I can't do some amount. And so now is the time when a person just throws themselves wholeheartedly into it, with their entire heart, their entire passion. And that is what we should try to do. That is what we should try to do in these last 10 days and nights. Now, in addition, again, before we come to the aspect of ibadah, we should spend a lot of time, or in the back of our heart throughout these whole 10 days and nights, should be shukr to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A lot of gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That Allah ta'ala, you are so Rahman, so Kareem, that you gave it this opportunity. You are so Rahman, you are so Kareem, that you sent this Ramadan on us, that you have created and designed Laylatul Qadr for our hearts and for our ruh, for our spiritual souls. And then yes, then we have to put our own share into the effort as much as we can, And that's really what happens in these last 10 days and nights is now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is maximizing all of His blessings and features in Ramadan. So there's one thing left. And me and you, we don't want to be what I sometimes call the missing ingredient in Ramadan. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put everything there. Allah ta'ala has made the perfect design, the perfect recipe for spiritual success in Ramadan. There's only one thing that could endanger this, is that we ourselves voluntarily choose to be the missing ingredient in this incredible system of Ramadan that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has designed. So rather no, right? We want to put our own share into it. We want to put our own talab, our own amal, our own effort into it. This is how, this is the way to honor this month of Ramadan. This is the way to honor these last 20 days that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us. And if there's someone who is still have to do, they're engaged in the world, maybe they're working, they're a professional, mashallah, let's say they're a doctor, they're a healthcare professional, or they're taking care of a lot of family members at home. So they say, look, for me, it's not like in the last 10 days and nights, I can just do ibadah all the time. And especially it's about the nights. We say, okay, no problem. Rather than the days, focus on the nights. Rather than all the nights, focus on the 5 odd nights. And if you're not able to do ibadah all night long, most of the night, half the night, do as much as you can. Push yourself, right? Push yourself not to a breakable limit, but do as much as you can, and then push yourself a little bit more, and then just make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then attend to your rest of the duties and responsibilities that you have to do. One of the major things we should also be doing in these last 10 nights is dua. A lot of dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the dua should focus on us, our attributes. So yes, Allah ta'ala has given us a lot of amal. We make dua that Allah ta'ala give us more amal. But now what we need is sifat. And we need akhlaq. We need sifat and we need akhlaq. Sifat means the attributes of iman. We need taqwa. We need piety. We need to be conscious of Allah Ta'ala, conscientious of our duty to Allah Ta'ala as a servant and slave, to have revere Him and have awe for Him out of His majesty and His magnificence. We need the attribute of taqwa. We need the attribute of tawakkul. We need to be able to trust upon Allah Ta'ala, rely upon Allah Ta'ala, especially when things are unclear to us or outwardly appears that things are not going our way. We need the attribute of sabr. We need to be patient and have fortitude and perseverance and endurance to remain steadfast on deen in the face of hardship and adversity. We need the attribute, sifat of ikhlas. We need to have sincerity, and everything we do is only and only for the sake of the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So there's so many sifat in deen. This is the time to beg Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Many times me and you don't make dua for these attributes for the simple reason that we don't even feel we're worthy. We haven't done anything. How can we even ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant me taqwa and ikhlas? But alhamdulillah, a little bit now, we're still not worthy, but a little bit we can be daring and bold enough to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because of these first 20 days and nights of Ramadan. So now it's very important we make dua for sifat. And the second thing is akhlaq, which is to have good virtuous character, good behavior with others. Sifat is basically, the sifat of iman is the condition and feelings and emotions in our heart as it pertains to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and akhlaq is about the conditions and feelings in our heart as it pertains to behavior with our fellow creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So very important thing, because that's beyond a'mal, right? And we know that because many of us, we pray salah and we still don't get good sifat, we still don't get good akhlaq. We recite Quran Kareem, we still don't get good sifat, we still don't get good akhlaq. So yes, the amal, ibadat help, but now in the last 10 nights, and especially the odd nights, we want to beg Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to once and for all change our heart, change our condition. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, He will not change the condition of a qawm, of a community, until they change their own condition. So rather we beg Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He change our condition and He change the condition of our societies and of the entire ummah on khair. And then if there was some particular, another dua to make, if there was any particular change, right, or any attribute that you wanted, these are the nights to make it. So for example, if somebody really wants to pray tahajjud, it's their wish to pray tahajjud, alhamdulillah, because of Ramadan, because of waking up to keep the fast and eat the pre-dawn meal of suhoor, they're able to pray. But what they want is, I want to continue this. Okay, maybe not every night, but I want to do it most nights, even after Ramadan. These nights, 21, 23, 25, 27, 29, the odd nights are the time to make dua for this. Because praying tahajjud is not something that's going to be our own accomplishment, our own achievement. We're going to work hard, we're going to strive, one day we'll reach the goal. No, 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 no. One day Allah Ta'ala is going to bless us with it. One day Allah Ta'ala is going to accept it for us. And how can we hope that that day comes sooner? We're going to make dua to Allah Ta'ala on these odd nights, every one of these odd nights, so that inshallah it is that we made dua to Allah Ta'ala on Laylatul Qadr. Somebody wants to be from the Zakireen and Zakirat. They want their heart always to remember Allah Ta'ala, right? It's not going to come through our own effort. It's not going to come through doing lessons of zikr. It's not going to come through our own skill. No, this is going to be bestowed by Allah Ta'ala. This is the gift from Allah Ta'ala. This is something we can beg Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on these nights. Like Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to make dua, Allahumma a'inna la dhikrika wa shukrika wa husni ibadatik. This is the real plan. This is the plan of action. What? The plan of action is, I'm going to make so many du'as and beg Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that Allah ta'ala is going to fix me. The plan of action is not that I'm going to be so dynamic and I'm going to go all out and so hardcore in these last 10 nights that I will become fixed. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah wa ma tawfiqi illa billah. So to make dua for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Next major thing to make dua is if there's some sin, sinful action, sinful attribute, sinful inclination that a person just cannot stop. It keeps resurfacing, keeps repeating, fading, returning. Okay, it is not this. It's not that I'm going to work hard and become muttaqi and I will get over it. No, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to take me out, inshallah. How? I'm going to make so many du'as to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on these odd nights. Maybe I'm unable to control my tongue. Maybe I'm unable to control my gaze. Maybe I'm unable to control my anger. So what I'm going to do, in these last odd nights, I'm going to make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That, Ya Allah, protect me, fix me, purify me. Allahumma ati nafsi taqwaha wa zakkiha anta khairu man zakkaha anta waliyuha wa mawlaha. Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to make this dua, that, oh my Allah, grant my nafs its purity. Grant my nafs its purity. Allahumma ati nafsi taqwaha, grant my nafs its taqwa, its piety. So again, this month is la'allakum tattaqun. Allahumma ati nafsi taqwaha wa zakkiha, and purify my nafs. Anta khairu man zakkaha, you are the being who can best purify my nafs. It's not me that I'm the being who can purify my nafs. You are the being who can purify my nafs. Why? Anta waliyuha wa mawlaha, you are the benefactor, the patron, the friend of me, and you are my mawla, you are my protector. So these are du'as to make in these odd nights. So this is just an example. I just gave general categories of sifat, of akhlaq, of a'mal, of leaving sin, of relationships, of duties, of roles, of responsibilities. There's so many du'as to make on these last odd nights. And in fact, the ulama have mentioned that it's even more important to make dua than it is to pray long nawafil or extra nawafil. Yes, we should, inshallah, try to pray extra salah, pray salatul tasbih, and do different types of ibadah. But the main thing in these nights is to make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And just think that we're going to keep making dua. When we tire of dua, tire means that we lose the spiritual strength, we get spiritual fatigue, or we run out of words, or maybe run out of feelings. Okay, then we'll do ibadah. Then we'll get up and pray some salah, or recite some Quran, or recite some salawat, or something, and then again we'll make dua. And so the focus is on dua, and the ibadat are just to reinvigorate the feelings, to do dua. Ibadat are the expressions of our wish that the duas are accepted, and obviously the ibadat are from the sunnah ibadat, sunnah acts of that Nabi Kareem, sunnah acts of worship that Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to offer. I read once in a book that Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he used to say that if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had wanted to send adhab on this ummah, punishment on this ummah, he would never have ever gifted this ummah with the month of Ramadan, and he would not have gifted this ummah with Surah Al-Ikhlas in Quran Al-Kareem. Now, when you think about that, especially when we were, looking at some tafsir earlier this month, Allah Ta'ala Himself has said in Quran, right, that we will not send an adhab upon them as long as you are with them and or they seek the forgiveness of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. And so the ulama have understood that an adhab, a punishment that wipes, by adhab here I mean a punishment, a natural disaster, a punishment from the divine power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He sends to wipe out an entire community, that will not happen with the Ummah Muslimah, right? That will not happen with Ummah Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay, so one aspect is this statement of Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu. But let's look at it another way, right? That every year Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends Ramadan, no matter what our condition is as individuals, no matter what the condition of the ummah is, no matter what the state of the world is. It's an amazing fact that no matter how distant we may become from Allah Ta'ala, no matter how individually astray we may have become, no matter how many sins we may have done, no matter how much we may have forgotten Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, still every year Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends Ramadan, the same Ramadan. What does it mean? The same amount of rahmah, mercy from Allah Ta'ala, the same amount of maghfirah, forgiveness from Allah Ta'ala, the same barakah, the same blessings from Allah Ta'ala, the same Ramadan that He sent when Sayyidina Rasulullah was alive in the month of Ramadan. Same Ramadan. Allahu Akbar Kabira. So that itself, yes, is a sign that Allah Ta'ala does not want to outright punish the entire ummah, because every year Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends a month. That is the power, right? And this is the power in this month. The power, yes, can uplift us as individuals, can uplift us as family, as community, as society, as ummah. This is the month of hidayah also, I would say. This can be the month where all people accept Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, accept iman. That is the power of this month of Ramadan. This is the power of the month of Ramadan. And remember, go back to what Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his Jummah khutbah, which was one Jummah khutbah that he gave when? On the last Friday of Shaban, right? The last Friday of Shaban, the month before Ramadan. And he told Sahaba Kiram radiallahu ta'ala ajma'in, what? That a month is coming to you, right? This very long hadith, and he mentioned many, many things about the month of Ramadan. But one of the things that he said about it also was that it was a month of rahmah, and not just of Allah Ta'ala's mercy on us, but also a month of compassion and empathy. Right? And that's one of the major lessons that we were supposed to have learned by now. What? That by these 20 days of fasting and of feeling hunger and feeling thirst and feeling need and feeling want, that we should have an empathy for the poor. Not just that we got a taste of hunger, but just a taste of need, a taste of hardship. And that's a feeling of compassion. And that's why Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to give much more sadaqah on this month. And that's why, by the way, on each of these nights we should try to give some sadaqah, because you never know which one of these nights is Laylatul Qadr. So let's say you give 1,000, or whatever, $100 or 1,000 rupees each of these nights. Then inshallah, if you give all 5 of the odd nights, then you will have given on Laylatul Qadr, then it would be, as if you had given 80 plus years worth of charity. But it's not just the charity. The charity was an expression of a feeling of the heart of the Prophet ﷺ, which was that even Nabi Kareem ﷺ, who already was Rahmatul Alameen, already has the most empathy and compassion for all humanity, for the world, he also felt more compassion and empathy for the poor in this month. So it's not just giving more charity. So how do we do this? So then another thing we have to make dua for is to make a lot of dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is why we've made this one of the topics for this inshallah, one of the English talks we will give about concern for the ummah in times of hardship. We should make a lot of dua for the end of poverty and oppression and injustice. And there's so many kinds. Allahu Akbar Kabira. We may not be living in a time, like World War I or World War II, where there are massive world wars, but there's massive, widespread, systemic injustice and oppression in so many different levels and so many different ways in this world. Not just on the ummah, just generally in the world. And so a lot of dua we should make in this month, these last 10 nights, odd nights of the last 10 nights, is for this, that may Allah Ta'ala rescue the Muslimin, those who are oppressed, those who are suffering under injustice, tyranny, oppression, right? May Allah Ta'ala protect us from ever being a source of oppression and injustice to others. May Allah Ta'ala forgive us for being so callous and not feeling the pain of the ummah and the pain of humanity and just living our own happy-go-lucky lives. This is another very important feeling and very important du'as to have in these special nights, starting from tonight. Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam had said, if you remember from amongst the other virtues of Ramadan, was also that all of the angels and all of the creation, whether bird or fish or land animals, right, whether the creatures of the air or of the land or of the oceans and seas, all of them make dua of maghfirah, seeking forgiveness for the person who is fasting in a state of iman. Now, if you think about that, just think about that scientifically, right? Now, if we add science into it, let's add every single microscopic, right, organism. So that's not billions, that's trillions and trillions and trillions of life forms in the air and the land and the ocean. And trillions and trillions and trillions of life forms are making dua for my and your maghfirah, right up to the angels, malaika, right down to the smallest. Now just think, what does this mean? This means clearly Allah Ta'ala wants to forgive us in this month. Clearly this is a month of maghfirah. Now think that Allah Ta'ala has made all of creation make dua for our maghfirah. That means me and you should also make dua of maghfirah for all the mu'mineen. We can't just make dua for ourselves on this night when Allah has made all the creation make dua for us. So it's very important in these nights that we make dua for the forgiveness of all the believers and for the hidayah of all of humanity, and also for the relief from oppression and justice for all of humanity. If Allah Ta'ala is making all the angels and other creation remember us, then we also should respond. And in these, especially, generally, but especially in these special 5 nights, we should remember the rest of creation. We should remember others. Just think, Allahu Akbar Kabira, so many trillions are making dua for us. Look, even if there was one special person in your life, your mother, she said, I make dua for you all the time, or some other person, some major scholar of hadith said, I make dua for you all the time. Okay, then imagine if your mother said, may Allah open up Haramain again, that I'm going to spend all the odd nights doing tawaf around the Kaaba, and all the time I'll be making dua for you by name for your maghfirah. Allahu Akbar. Now think, Allah Ta'ala is making all the angels, that includes the malaika muqarrabun, the ones who do tawaf around the arsh of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that they're making dua for the maghfirah of every fasting believer. Allahu Akbar Kabira. Ajib. This is such an incredible reality. It's a reality beyond, even when I say the words, it's still beyond, we can't comprehend the depth of this reality. It is so intense, it is so deep, it is such an manifest expression of the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even all these examples and metaphors and similes, which are all literal also, it's beyond our comprehension. It's unfathomable for us. So again, after all this, the only thing could be that we are the missing ingredient. And that's the only thing we have to work on, is that we should become part of this incredible process. We should become part of this incredible process. So we have 10 days left. Alhamdulillah. 10 days and 10 nights left. So we should renew our niyyah. We should renew our intention. We should spend these 10 days and 10 nights as if it's an entire month of Ramadan. We should spend these 10 days and 10 nights as if it's our last Ramadan. Many times we say that as a standard formula, but now, with this situation in the world, Allahu Akbar, how many people, couldn't make it to this year Ramadan? And it was completely unexpected, right? And how many of us, there's so much uncertainty, and let's take some, instead of just taking the anxiety from the uncertainty, let's try to take positive lessons from that uncertainty. That now I think we can truly, really feel this. This may be our last Ramadan, even if we're 30, 40, 50 years old. It's not just if we're very old. Imagine if this is my last Ramadan potentially. This is my last 10 nights potentially. This is my last chance to seek and find the Laylatul Qadr, the night of power. So you should make a lot of effort to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, a lot of effort, lot of dua, submission, subjugation, submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, tafweed and taslim. It's just like, just think like these first 20 days were just all leading up for this. The first 20 days was just like the mubadiyat, was like the preparation. And now, these next 10 days, we have to try our best. Like they give the example sometimes of gold, right? The gold can have impurities in it. And so think, yes, the most of us, the last 20 days, there were some impurities. We weren't 100% doing our best, striving our best in Ramadan. Our best won't result in 100%, but our effort was 100%. Okay, now these last 10 days and night, this is to go pure gold, right? To try our best with love, with longing, with remembrance, with yearning for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. At least, okay, maybe even if Allahu Alam, if we can do it, but at least at the start, which is we're at the start now of the last 10 days and nights. We are at the start of this. So niyyah is what is done at the start of something. So at least we can make niyyah. That Ya Allah, Rabbi Kareem, this is my niyyah. My intention is to go all out in these last 10 days and nights so that I can try my best to seek your pleasure, to attract your mercy, to beg your forgiveness. I want to try to do ruju ilallah, inabat ilallah, fafirru ilallah, wasari'u ila maghfirah. I want to turn to Allah Ta'ala, incline towards Allah Ta'ala, race towards Allah Ta'ala, flee towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Just make our niyyah. Just make our niyyah. Then make dua on this first night, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept this niyyah of mine and let me live in such a manner in the next 10 days and nights. And especially, in these last 10 days and nights, if we were a bit lax in making our dua at suhoor, or we were a bit lax at praying tahajjud at that time, or we were lax in making dua at iftar, or we didn't make dua after taraweeh, or maybe we didn't recite Quran every day. So let's see, whatever, alhamdulillah, we were able to do, Allah Ta'ala blessed us to do in the last 20 days, let's try to work on that and make that better, right? Let's try to make that better in these last 10 days and nights. Now, it's also a last chance for those of us, and I think this is for everyone, almost everyone, this is much more of a, if you will, a family Ramadan. So maybe a lot of us were busy in the first 20 days, just getting used to fasting or doing other things. This is our last chance to try to be with the children, to try to attract the children towards Islam, to try to involve the children in those du'as at iftar, to try to involve the children in learning some hadith or some sunnah of Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So let's try and let's make dua for each other also, that we're all able, each and every one of us is able to do that successfully, and that Allah Ta'ala bless all our families. And sometimes when the children, they raise their hands in dua, even if fine, they may not be making the most eloquent dua or the most elaborate dua, but they're much more innocent than you and I are, right? They're much more pure than you and I are. Even if we can somehow get them to raise their hands with some sense of turning to Allah Ta'ala, some sense of asking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, inshallah, due to the barakah of them turning to Allah Ta'ala may accept our du'as as well. Allah Ta'ala may accept our du'as as well. So this is just one example of the family. Any and all family relations, and everybody is living in a different circumstance, but this is the last 10 days and nights. It's the last chance for that as well. And this is the love. So what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned for the spouse, mawadda and rahma, that Allah Ta'ala has placed. Mawadda, soft, tender, kind, affection, and rahma, mercy and compassion. So these are the master attributes in family relationships. Yes, first and foremost in the spousal relationship, but in any and all family relationship, whether children with parents, parents with children, in-laws, extended family, however you want to refer to it. So we should try, because this is the same thing in our relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? That we want Allah Ta'ala, we want to get more mawadda, Allah Ta'ala's al-wudud, we want to get more of His love and affection, and we also want, obviously, to get more rahmah and mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, just to put it simply, we should show more love and affection in these last 10 days and nights, and we should show more mercy and compassion in these last 10 days and nights. And we should try to remove any and all of the negative feelings that are in our heart, whether it's a slight resentment, a grudge, a grievance, or it's an outright rancor, malice, spite, hatred, ill will. And this is, a very important thing to remove in this month of Ramadan. If we haven't done so yet, then again, these last 10 days and nights, to also think of it as, it's not just about Laylatul Qadr. It's also an aspect of it being the last, the end. Time is running out. As Allah Ta'ala said in Quran Hakim, ayyama ma'dudat, that these are limited days. And those days, the limit is approaching now, right? So all these things that we were supposed to do in this month, we only have a few days and nights left to do them. Yes, they are the most powerful days and nights, the best nights to do it, but still, time is running out. Time is short. Time is short. And we should try to make dua based also on the features of Ramadan. For example, again, these are things that we all would have heard at the start of Ramadan, but that Allah Ta'ala has made a separate gate into Jannah, right? So, Babur Rayyan. So we should make dua to Allah Ta'ala. Don't just assume that because Allah Ta'ala made it. No, we should show we are needy, we are fakir, we are muhtaj. Beg Allah Ta'ala that, Ya Allah, admit me into Jannah through Babur Rayyan, right? And this is a gate that I think must be the most people will enter this gate, because if you see in the ummah, if there's any amal, any act of worship that the most people do in the ummah, it's fasting in the month of Ramadan. But don't take anything for granted. We have to beg Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that is one dua we should make. Then another thing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said is that as-sawmu li wa ana ujza bihi, that the sawm, so on the day of judgment, Allah Ta'ala will have a special reward for those who fasted. And rather that any particular reward will be given to them based on their book of deeds, Allah Ta'ala will declare, as-sawmu li, means the fast is for me. So it means the person fasted for me, wa ana ujza bihi, then I myself will reward it. So, okay, yes, that's a hadith, but don't take it for granted, right? We should make dua to Allah Ta'ala, that, Ya Allah, this is what I want. 20 days I've done it, I'm going to be doing it for inshallah 10 more, and the reason I'm fasting, Allah Ta'ala, is you, that I want you. Allah Ta'ala, I ask that you reward me on that day by sending your rahmah and mercy on me. I ask that you reward me on that day by purifying me. I ask that you reward me on that day by doing kalam, by speaking with me. I ask you to reward me on that day by doing nadhr, by casting your gaze upon me. I ask you to reward me on that day by letting me get the shafa of Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I ask you to reward me on that day by admitting me into Jannah. I ask you to reward me on that day by manifesting your ridwan and your pleasure for me. So all these features, so this just 2-3 examples. Again, go back, think everything you've heard from the hadith and the sunnah about Ramadan, all of that should be part of our du'as in these special nights. All of that should be, inshallah, part of our du'as in these special nights. Then now, Laylatul Qadr itself. Inna anzalnahu fi Laylatul Qadr. The first thing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to tell us about Laylatul Qadr before, right, it being better than 1,000 months, the first and most important thing, right, is that Allah ta'ala has sent down Quranul Kareem on Laylatul Qadr. Right, and we won't even be able to know and understand fully what Laylatul Qadr is. Again, like I said, is beyond our imagination, incomprehensible, unfathomable. So yes, definitely we should want, in all these 5 nights, we should have some engagement with Quran. That's recitation of Quran, maybe memorizing a couple of verses of Quran, translation of Quran, tafsir of Quran, reflecting on some parts of Quran, making dua. Again, now if Ramadan is the month of Quran, right? Shahr Ramadan li unzila fil Quran. Make dua on this feature. Ya Allah, if this is the month in which you revealed Quran on Lawhul Mahfuz and you inscribed it permanently, indelibly, unerasably on Lawhul Mahfuz, Ya Allah, I ask you now to inscribe the meanings and feelings of Quran in my heart. I ask you to permanently write for me a thirst for Quran in my life, a talab, a desire for Quran in my life, an understanding of Quran in my life, a submission to Quran in my life, in obedience to the commandments of Quran in my life, following the teachings of Quran Kareem in my life, a Quranic life. Make du'as according to the features. Make du'as to Allah Ta'ala according to the features He Himself sent in Ramadan. And again, because that's what it is. It's not that Ramadan is the month where we do so much tilawah, we become Sahib Quran, or we do tafsir, we become Sahib Quran. No, there's nothing we can do. It's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can connect us to Quran. Allah ta'ala can unite us on Quran. Allah ta'ala can grant us a life on Quran. Okay, then move to the next thing. Khairum min alfi shahr. Right? So I would say that for many of us, one dua that would be related to this was, Ya Allah, let me value time. Because most of my life, Allah Ta'ala, my life is more reflective of which ayah? Wal asri innal insana lafi khusr. That time is passing by and I'm in a state of loss. But Allah Ta'ala, out of your blessing, you're giving me a chance now. You're giving me a night that has more power than 1,000 months. You're giving me a chance of kafara. Khairum min alfi shahr. So one dua to make related to this then is, Ya Allah, let me value time. The same way, Allah Ta'ala, you inspired me, you motivated me to value this Laylatul Qadr. You incentivized me by telling me khairum min alfi shahr, right? Ya Allah, let me value every night of my life. Let me value every day of my life. Let me value every moment of life. Let me do qadr. That's another meaning of qadr. Let me appreciate and value and estimate properly. Let me do qadr of all the time, because there's an element of time here, right? Khairum min alfi shahr. It's a multiplier of time. And openly say, Allah, I'm in khusr, and now you're giving me a night of qadr. I've led a lifetime of khusr, but you're giving me a night of qadr. You'll take me out from the khusr and bring me into qadr. This is a dua to make. And this is I think one of the wisdoms also, that it's not guaranteed, right? It's not guaranteed to be 27. Pretty much you can 99% say the muhaddithin have agreed that it's on one of these 5 odd nights. Alright? So 21, 23rd, 25, 27, 29. Okay, so this means, what does it mean? Allah Ta'ala wants us to search for it. You do have to search a bit for it. I think there's a lot of wisdom. Yes, there's a particular, narration about Laylatul Qadr was going to be revealed and some Sahaba and all that. But I think ultimately it is a wisdom from Allah Ta'ala that we search for it. So we're happy, we're seekers. We're seekers of this night. 5 nights we have to search for it. 5 nights we have to seek for it. And again, this can teach us, inshallah, to value our time, to value our deen, to value our ibadah, to value Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Remember Allah Ta'ala said in Quran Kareem, وَمَا قَدَرَ اللَّهَ حَقَّ قَدْرِ, that they did not estimate and value Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They did not give Allah Ta'ala, accord to Allah Ta'ala the rank that befits His majesty and magnificence. And although that verse isn't about believers, but me and you are also guilty of that at a certain level, right? So this is another dua to make. So just take this word qadr and think of so many different ways it's been used, so many meanings it has in Arabic, in different ways it's been used in Quran al-Kareem, and there's so many du'as. Okay, then what's the next thing about this night? تَتَنَزَّلُ الْمَلَائِكَةُ وَالرُّوحُ فِيهَا, that the angels and ar-ruh, Angel Jibreel alayhi salam, they come down. They come down to earth. So this is a very special thing. Angels have come down to bring wahi, to bring revelation on prophets, alayhim assalam ajmain, and angels have come down to assist prophets and alayhim assalam ajmain and their companions, right, in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And now we're getting a third mention of angels coming down for believers. And by the way, if you remember the hadith on Eid, it's the same thing. The angels come down for the believers. So they line up all the roads and ways and paths that are leading to every place of Eid Salah. And the angels have descended to earth for that. Allahu Akbar Kabira. The angels, again, these are the Malaika Muqarrabun. Amongst them are the Malaika Muqarrabun who do tawaf around the Arsh of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But most of all, Ar-Ruh refers to the greatest angel, the most honored angel. Imam al-Malaika, Sayyidina Jibreel alayhi salam. So now imagine the same angel, Jibreel alayhi salam, whom Allah Ta'ala specially gave the duty to bring revelation to the Anbiya, and especially in that to Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the same angel Jibreel who is spoken to Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that same angel Jibreel is coming down to earth for you and me. Allahu Akbar Kabira. Subhanallah wa bihamdi subhanallah azim. Ajib. Even we can rationally understand this, but it's unfathomable. It's incomprehensible. It's a sharaf. It's an honor from Allah Ta'ala beyond anything that we can imagine, beyond anything we're worthy of. Beyond anything we can imagine and beyond anything that we're worthy of. Now imagine that, and then they remain salamun, so they're coming with a salam, with a peace, a sakina, a tranquility, a contentment, and it's going to last hatta matla il-fajr, all the way until literally it is the dawning of the dawn, or the rising of the dawn, or the appearance of the dawn. All night long. So not that Jibreel is coming for a moment or a minute, the entire night. Allahu Akbar Kabira. So whether at start of the night, whether at the end, right before Fajr Salah, we have to make a lot of dua for Allah, lot of dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A lot of dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then, may Allah Ta'ala bless Mu'mineen Sayyidah Aisha radhiyallahu anha. She asked Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because she also understood that this is an incredible night. So she said, what dua should I make on this night? So now just imagine, Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Allah Ta'ala could have inspired him to say so many things. Right? Out of all the sentences, just look at this short, beautiful sentence. Allahumma innaka afuwun kareemun tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anni. That, oh Allah, indeed you, Allah Ta'ala, are afuwun. You're extremely soft and kind and pardoning. Kareemun. You're extremely generous and gracious. Tuhibbul afwa. And you love to pardon. Fa'fu anni. So therefore, Allah Ta'ala, pardon me. Allahu Akbar Kabira. That's it. So this dua we should repeat as much as we can, and then expand upon it. Other duas from the Quran that are similar to it. Make other duas in your own language, turning to Allah Ta'ala, using words that are similar to it. And then again, we should also try to have af and be kareem with others as well. And we should make that intention in these last 10 nights. And alhamdulillah, another aspect of these Generally in Ramadan we feel a lot of solidarity with the rest of the ummah, but there's a feeling, there's a sense, right? And mashallah, for in some places of the world, these 5 are the odd nights, and other places of the world, right? Yesterday and the other set. So in the world, every night, someone is searching for Laylatul Qadr. Someone is making dua for the ummah. So we should also make dua that, Ya Allah, accept all the duas of all of those who are making dua and haqq to you on this night, and accept all the duas that everyone is making for the ummah. And Ya Allah, as a member of that ummah, accept all those duas for me as well. So then if somebody is making dua for the maghfirah, forgiveness of the ummah, you present this to Allah Ta'ala, Ya Allah, I am also a member of the ummah. So all the duas that all the people are making now, all the duas that people have made in the entire history of Islam, all the duas that Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam made for the ummah, Ya Allah, accept me as a member of that ummah. You made me a member of that ummah, and Ya Allah, accept all those duas in my haqq and my regard as well. So we should make a lot of effort, a lot of effort. I have not mentioned any particular list. All of us should know so many different ibadat, recitation of Quran, salatul tasbih, different types of extra prayers, du'as, istighfar, seeking forgiveness of Allah Ta'ala. Very important, salawat ala Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Durood Sharif, to send salutations and blessings on the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Make the dua that is supposed to be made after adhan, because so many times we missed making it after adhan, which we're making dua. Allah Ta'ala grant the Prophet Muhammad Maqam Mahmud, Darajat Rafiya, and that includes, not limited to, but includes amongst many, many things, also the right of Shafa'ah. We should also make dua to Allah Ta'ala, that Allah Ta'ala bless us with the Shafa'ah of Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the intercession of Nabi Kareem, the healing intercession of Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Make dua for family, friends, for the ummah, for colleagues, for neighbors, for anyone who was ever affiliated with you, associated with you, connected to you, met you, interacted you for even the slightest of a second, to make dua for them, right? These are special nights of dua. We make dua for all of you. We ask that you all make dua for us as well, and we beg Allah Ta'ala that He give us tawfiq to make the most of these remaining days and nights of Ramadan, especially these odd nights. Wa akhiru da'wana and alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.